Oh man, it's time to review Super Mario 64. Now, here's a little disclaimer to all you freaking Nintendo fanboys. This game is terrible. I don't care what any of you fanboys say. The game sucks. Total balls. There, I said it. So, then, another disclaimer. I'm reviewing the DS version. So any problems I encounter in the game would be because I played the DS version. And if you say, no, this hasn't happened in the game, you're playing the Nintendo 64 version, not the DS version. Let's begin with this review of a badly aged game that sucked even in the time it came out. Super Mario 64 is Mario's first jump to 3D. Around the same year Crash Bandicoot was released, Super Mario 64 was released. And, you know, it's an interesting concept to bring Mario to 3D. And I think Mario's better off being in 3D. It's not Mario being in 3D that bothers me. It's the fact that that they completely changed the game. Now, I know you're saying, oh, but you said the retro games suck. You say they suck. They do suck, but they had a lot of potential if they just got rid of the badly similar level designs and the cheap deaths and basically repetitive story. And guess what? In Super Mario 64, the story is still the same exact thing. Your Princess Peach is trapped in Bowser's castle. Oh my god, that's such a plot twist, right? And then Mario goes, and then he could go to the castle, and you could also play as Yoshi too. And it's just not a good design. Like, okay, when I start playing a Mario game, I want to play as Mario, not Yoshi. Because I just find that to be pointless. Completely pointless. Yoshi wasn't even a good character anyway. But then to just force it down our throats, that just sucks. And then what Yoshi could do that Mario can't is only that he could, just like he could do in the Mario World games, he could he could like put the enemies in his mouth and then spit them out. But this time he doesn't shoot fire, he just shoots the enemy out, which is not a problem, but I don't know. I just find the stage design to be even worse. It's completely linear. That's right, it's linear. You know why it's linear? Because you have to go up the path and up the path, and then if you fall, you either fall to your death, or you fall to the very beginning of the stage again. And that's just a terrible level design by the Nintendo, and it's just not good. Now, this is a port from a game, from a system, which is highly praised by everyone. But if the Nintendo 64 is such a good system, why did it have a 3-year lifespan? Or, it had a 5-year lifespan, sorry. But then the Nintendo 64 came out in '96, and Nintendo announced the new console around 2000. And, you know, we're in this day and age where the PS3 was announced in 05, and Sony has not announced a new console yet. That's called lifespan, guys. Nintendo doesn't even know what a lifespan is. Of a console, at least. They made the original Nintendo, a good lifespan. Super Nintendo, was an okay lifespan. But then the Nintendo 64, they started getting shorter, and then the GameCube had about a 5-year lifespan. But then when they discontinued it, they discontinued it after, because it's like if you like come out with a new system, you should continue support for the system, not just like leave it behind and just forget it happened. Oh yeah, the GameCube is coming out, so I'm just gonna discontinue the Nintendo 64. That's not how it works. That's not how it should work. And then the Wii, it had the longest lifespan in Nintendo console, but it was the most disappointing one. The graphics were compared to PS2 instead of PS3. So yeah, that's how Nintendo works lifespans, and this game and this system is not an exception to Nintendo's F-ups. But in the DS version, you have 2 screens and a touch screen and everything. And you know, the lack of analog is terrible, because they should not release it on a system that doesn't have analog, when analog was a key feature in the Nintendo 64 and Super Mario 64. So they should have ported it to a later system, or at least they should have put an analog stick on the DS instead of, you know, because they were planning on because this came out the same year the Nintendo DS was released. So that just proves that they're freaking lazy as hell. So, but yeah, overall this game is not cool. It's not good at all. It's like, I do praise them a tiny bit for trying to make something different, but when it just doesn't work, I have to. If the game is a little bit better than most of the other classic Mario games, like the original Super Mario Brothers had a lot of potential, and it was a decent game. Decent game. That's what I said. I gave it a 71 out of 100. Decent game. But then it started going downhill when they repeated it. When they kept making the game repetitive and repetitive and repetitive and repetitive. And this is a mixture of being repetitive and utterly failing at the gameplay. So, when it comes to all of that, this game is worth a 58%. See, when I rate systems, when I rate games, a 10% would be, well, 0% would just be the terrible, just awful, the worst. 1, like 10, would be like vomiting. It just makes you sick. 20 would be just horrendous. 30 would be terrible. 40 would be just downright awful. 50 would be bad. 60 would be it would be like a little bit below like a decent game. It's like it had potential, but it just sucked. And that's why I feel the game is worth a 58%. Thanks for watching.